What is going on, everybody? My name is Lua FG and welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special video. If you guys haven't already, to give some context, we're going to be talking about The Last of Us 2 and Angry Joe's review on it that just released a few days ago, or a day ago. Spoiler alert for The Last of Us 2. There's probably going to be some spoilers here, so if you haven't played the game and don't want to be spoiled, click off right now. And if you could do me a big favor, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. So Angry Joe recently made a review on The Last of Us 2, and he clearly did not enjoy the game. Now, just to be 100% transparent, I didn't like the game either, excuse me. I gave the game a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, between there, 6.5. I think is the most generous I can give the game, right? It was beautiful, gameplay was great, but you're not here to watch my review. I made a post on both Reddits, r-TheLastofUs and r-TheLastofUs2, wondering why The Last of Us, r-TheLastofUs, were so angry with Angry Joe. Now, I was a bit confused because I feel like we're all entitled to our opinions, and I thought Angry Joe made a very good review. So I wanted to ask, because I was thinking, okay, what are the mindset of both of these Reddits? Because it's like Goku versus Vegeta, Crash versus Cortex. These people do not like each other or their own opinions. So I wanted to pose the same question to both subreddits and see what they said. And I have the result right here. Okay, so we're going to start with r-TheLastofUs2. Now, here's a question that I posed to them. Why is the other subreddit mad at Angry Joe? There's two extremes in this fandom, but why does the other subreddit act like their opinion is right? They are attacking Angry Joe for his opinion when there are literally hundreds of thousands to millions who agree with him. You know, I'm basing this off of all the people, all the Metacritic, all the likes on this video. But they say we just don't understand the writing. There's even a post of a supposed screenwriter who says that the writing is very good. There's one post of someone saying it's illegal to be paid off for a review, but as we know, we don't think Naughty Dog is literally paying them off, but we see no mention of Sony contacting reviewers. It's completely asinine to see such a brainwashed fan base. So look, clearly, I don't like the game, and I was very frustrated because I thought Angry Joe did a very good review, and to see people just completely act like because he didn't like the game, his opinion is invalid, it was a little bit ridiculous to me. So here's a question I posed to r-TheLastofUs. I asked, why are we so mad at Angry Joe here? Why can't this man have his own opinion? Those of you who are acting like your opinion of the game is the only one that is valid, Joe brings up very good points. And on another note, I saw a post here saying the paid off rhetoric was proven wrong. I don't think people are literally saying reviewers were paid off, but things like Sony contacting reviewers to clarify reviews what people are talking about. Don't be so clouded by your own opinions that you're unwilling to listen to others. 7 upvotes versus 49 upvotes. Let's go ahead and start reading the comments on r-TheLastofUs2. So obviously you guys know about this subreddit. These people were not happy with the game. The most upvoted comment, because they don't want to admit that they spent $60 on the game that didn't live up to their expectations, thus they live in utter denial. They're in denial. There's a funny comment there. The craziest thing about Angry Joe's review is that it doesn't have 50% downvotes. The majority of it are upvotes. Kind of speaks for itself. I put exactly. Because he challenged their opinion that The Last of Us 2 is the greatest piece of media, not just video game ever created. Because they hate anyone who criticizes the game, and they're gonna gear up to attack PewDiePie again soon, I bet, but Felix is too powerful for them. I agree. The same reason everyone there randomly put Jacksepticeye as their favorite YouTuber, because they hate those that hate the game and love those that like it. You see, that was what I was trying to get at. It seems like if you have a negative opinion on the game, whether it be a 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, I think you have to put like a 9 or a 10 in order to be having the right opinion. Then you get attacked and you can't have your own opinion anymore. Because I read that screenwriter post. Yeah, there was a guy who says he was a screenwriter who pretty much went on there and said, the game is good and has good writing because I'm a screenwriter and I'm telling you it's good writing. And how are you going to tell me it's not good writing? I'm a screenwriter. Because they are all weak-minded sheep that need their opinion validated by everyone else. You are either a part of their cult or you're not, and if you're not, you're a bigot, a homophobe, and whatever else. You should see the mental gymnastics going on over there. I said to a guy that he shouldn't just dismiss opinions that aren't his own as complaining for complaining's sake. Some other idiots then abused me for several hours. I then find out it's because they think I posted something about a severed hand coming after Ellie in the next game. That post wasn't me. That post was a joke by a guy that did like the game. But here's the thing. When I pointed out that I wasn't the one who said it, I only talking about the attitude of the sub towards people that disagree that the game is good, they still fucking attacked me for the same thing after admitting they got it wrong. Bunch of silly children. Saw one chick saying we were all transphobes because we laugh at fat Geralt memes. That place is bizarre. So finally getting back to the subject about Angry Joe, he's just speaking out his thoughts loud and clear like everyone did in other subreddit. I thought everyone has a right to speak about what's behind the mind, free speech. They seriously need to grow up, man. We'd never bash someone over some disagreements. They could just quit watching his review video if they don't agree with him. Some people don't like jokes. I mean, I personally enjoyed TheLastofUs2, despite its many flaws. The story wasn't as good as the first one, but I still enjoyed it. The gameplay was great too. Exactly. You can like the game and still allow somebody else to not like the game, right? Simple. They don't have a life and they think that they are doing something, hating on someone who doesn't even know them. It's sad. This is going to be a long one, okay, guys? I'm a fan of the game and I think that the issue is excuse me. I'm a fan of the game and I think the issue is he misrepresents parts of the game to make it easier for him to dunk on the game. I don't care if a person hates a piece of media that I like. I just want proper justifications and criticism. Among things that he made a big deal about was, from what I've read, I haven't seen this video myself, that he found it unfathomable that a tomboyish character like Ellie would pick up the PS Vita, play for a bit, and put it back in her bag. Which is the weirdest game I've ever heard. Of course she's not going to focus on playing a game. She's angry and wants justice for her father figure. So look, based on the fact that he hasn't watched the video, I can't really take the rest of his posts seriously. I mean, I'm sure he has very valid points. You can probably read it right here. But, you know, I think it's important to watch the video because that whole PS Vita thing, because here's what the other subreddit did, r-LastofUs. That was one of my points that I made, right? Where I was trying to explain one of Ellie's, the betrayal of her character. And they just stuck to the PS Vita stuff. Like, it was a passing joke. It wasn't like his main criticism on Ellie. So I don't really get why they got stuck on that. He makes some good points about Tommy here, not wanting revenge in the beginning and turn 180 degrees, and okay. And here we get a response. Ellie always liked things that were fun, and they joked that she would get collectible cards but refused to pick up a PS Vita. So yeah, it was more like a passing joke. Tommy always wanted revenge, but he also knew how important Ellie was to Joe and wouldn't want anything bad to happen to her. That's one of my problems with the game and how they portrayed Tommy. Yeah, I think it's disingenuous to think that, as the post you just saw right there said, it's disingenuous to say that Angry Joe was already tainted by the game and he was going to hate it regardless. He waited a long time before posting his review. He really got his thoughts together. He even said he probably watched that thing back and forth to really get his mind right. So I don't think saying that his review was disingenuous is the right way to think, because it's not, in my opinion. Okay, so now we're on to r-LastofUs. So look, before you guys think I'm just making this video to hate on r-LastofUs, no. The point of this video is to show both fan mindsets, because I feel one mindset thinks that the other people are just being ridiculous, and one side thinks they're being ridiculous. But I think we get some pretty good points in both sides, as you're going to see right now. It's fine to have a different opinion and criticism, but when you start claiming that it's out of character when someone doesn't pick up a Vita, I can't take you seriously. That, and he threw a tantrum halfway through when he had to play as Abby. Some professionalism, man. Goddamn. Okay. Again, they stuck to the Vita thing, and obviously this is the most liked comment on here. I put, but it is out of character. It wasn't his main annoyance. It was just an example of characters not acting like themselves, which I do agree with. To me, the game is a 6.5 out of 10. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Gameplay was nothing to write home about, and the story didn't resonate with me. Right? I have the right to that opinion, right? Man, I'm glad y'all don't get to write anything. Imagine Ellie picking up a PS Vita after stabbing a woman in the neck in a way to torture someone for information. And this is where I feel like I came back with a good one. I said, technically, Ellie could have just stood there for 5 hours if the player wanted her to. So that whole, they really sucks to that PS Vita thing, man. So again, talking about how was she going to pick it up? How was she going to pick it up? Who acted out of character? Ellie? That is the one thing I will never understand. The criticism of Ellie being out of character. That was 100% her throughout the whole game. Whether you like the story or not, that was her. So that's how they feel about the game. That was their perspective. People seem to forget that 14-year-old Ellie was innocent to the world around her prior to her release into the world with Joel and Tess. She lived in the QZ away from the horrors of the world. She's now spent 5 years in that world and it's impacted her. However, we see moments of levity in her character that will always be there. Yes, she is more dark and brooding and depressed and angry and hurt, but these traits are a product of the world around her. Just as they are within Joel, it's truly sad to see the haters and the angry mob get their egos and prides wrapped in opinions they got in the leaks before the game came out, never to change those opinions because of their entangled prides and egos. Truly saddening. So here's one of the issues that I see with this side of the fan base. They seem to think that because of the leaks, that those people never change their minds. While my counter to that is those of us who still bought the game despite the leaks and still gave it a chance and still didn't like it. It's not the leaks in itself didn't change the fact that, it was like that. Look, just an example for this. I used to watch Dragon Ball Super and they used to leak each episode like 2 weeks in advance and I would still love it. So I don't think the leaks did anything to do with it. There was a few leaks where I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. And then I would watch it. Oh my God, they did it well. I think that's a mute point. And obviously I was downvoted to hell. It's funny how people think that they know how fictional characters would act. Actually, Joel letting his guard down shows development as a character. He's been 5 years living in Jackson. Him and Ellie are on rocky pavement. They're just escaping a horde. We all get thrown off our game because there's a lot going on. That's actually great writing. When you think about it, Abby acts the most out of character in the good way because she was focused on how to get into Jackson by finding the patrol. She lets too much information out about her friends at her camp because she didn't know how to properly react when Joel falls right into her hands. I mean, again, you're entitled to your opinion. That's perfectly fine. I'm just going to start reading just the first comments. It really gets, if you guys want to see the whole thing, pause the video here, pause the video here, and pause the video here to get a good idea of like the conversations I had with them. It's not really the point of the video. I just wanted to explain the points that they had. I don't want to show you guys me arguing with them because there's no point. He does make some good points, although I do think his judgment is clouded by the leaks. Again, they're going back to that. He went into the game already hating it because of Joel. I definitely disagree with his opinion on Ellie and Joel's characters being drastically changed or assassinated. He's also missing the total point of the ending. With that being said, he's just another guy with an opinion. Not a big deal. That's a very, very level-headed, calm view on things. Who cares? Just a guy with an opinion. If you don't like the video, stop watching it. Who cares? I've seen his comments on bad storytelling, and honestly, it's full of platitudes like the characters didn't work for me. Their most recent video, posted an hour ago, Alex explicitly stated that he doesn't like the story because of the manner of which it was told rather than the direction, but then you actually watch all the criticism is just direction. Because it's kind of his rhetoric that makes it seem like having a negative opinion of the game is the right opinion. These people are ultra worried about other people agreeing with them and liking the game. Dude, it's not that serious. It's fine if someone doesn't like the game. You don't have to. Who cares if everyone doesn't like it? If you liked it, isn't that all that matters? You got your money's worth. I'm just going to say I hate this fandom. You can't even enjoy a game without it being thrown in your face that it's a bad game. The only time you ever see people go against negative opinions on this sub everywhere else is just a full-on dislike of the game. And I feel that's unfair to the people who truly like this game. I mean, look, I don't know how old this guy is. Or girl, I'm sorry. But if you're really that wrapped up in other people not liking the game, then I think you've invested way too much into this game. Because at the end of the day, it's just a game. Could have said it better. Yes, he could have made a better game, but he doesn't have the mentality. Guy's still practically 12 years old. Happy Cake Day. Okay, they're talking about, I haven't even seen this. Thank you and And honestly, for your number 3, I think it only mainly occurs here. Now, the main people that give 10 out of 10s are major critics. Let's be honest, they do that for every exclusive game that comes out on either console. So if that's why people feel like they're attacked, then they should know better to not trust big name review companies. Okay? They'll give 10 out of 10 to anything. Everywhere else, if you try to make positive opinion about the game, it'll just get crapped on or just left forgotten. Nobody wants to hear from people who like this game, and I feel that's a big problem right now. For a guy who's meant to be a reviewer and has apparently advertised himself as an alternative to IGN GameSpot, he did not do a good job of reviewing this game. And I'm not saying that because I like the game. Joe at times handed the controller to his friends to make them play, shouts over cutscenes, and even leaves the room while the game is still playing. They're pretty much saying he was biased coming into it, which I can see how you can go into it with doubts based on what you know. But if the game was good and the story was good, then I don't think the conclusion of his review would have been what it was. It was mostly down because of the story, because the rest of the game was pretty good. Joe is an idiot that is still butthurt over Joel. He's one of those people that view Joel as some hero saint, and he couldn't even go with an unbiased, clear mind while playing as Abby, constantly critiquing and not giving Abby or the game a chance. Again, I feel like his review was pretty well thought out. He laid down the reasons why, and he even liked playing as Abby. He really liked playing as Abby. He said that was the most fun in the game. She was a badass, but just didn't like the story direction. I thought he had solid points for disliking the game. It really was a lot to process, and while he kind of joked around too much, I think he presented solid arguments on why he didn't like it. After all, not all people like the same things. I agree wholeheartedly, as I said, and I got downvoted, which was fine. I don't really care. There are people here who will downvote any negative opinion on this game, just like the Last of Us 2 subreddit will downvote any positive opinion. Joe had some great points and some real nitpicky points. Some people are just angry he didn't love and has different opinions than everyone on this subreddit. I do agree with Joe for most of it. The writing of the story were not as good to me as the first. Most of Abby's friends are boring. Abby killed Joel when we were supposed to care about her. I love Joel, so of course I'm not going to love playing as her. I think that's the last comment. I feel that there needs to be a subreddit for the people who are in the middle of both of these extremes. So there's the response to him, because I feel like he laid out a very good point. The entire point of the game is to teach you a concept about empathy. It's easy to gain empathy for someone when you start from a position of empathy. Remember how we were introduced to Joel and Ellie? With Joel, we witnessed a daughter dying in his arms. That was our first interaction with him. That pulls on your heartstrings, and it's very easy to be empathetic. With Ellie, we were introduced to her as a young girl who's just trying to find her place in life with a special burden of being immune and a potential cure. The point of the game is to show you that true empathy is starting off from a place of hate and then growing empathetic. Sit down because there's going to be a doozy. The creative writers for the game wanted you to hate Abby when the game rewinds back to Seattle day one and you are controlling her. The empathy that is required in the game is the type of empathy that is productive in the real world. The final test of the game is to see whether you still wanted to kill Abby in the beach scene, or whether while Ellie was slashing her, you were hating yourself doing so because you actually care for her. That is a damn good response. I don't have much empathy in general because of being bullied so much when I was younger, so if the game was trying to tap into people's empathy, it failed on me personally. I honestly didn't want Ellie to die by the end of the game though. I thought she had been through enough at that point. And I hated Ellie for going out again to try to kill Abby. Still don't care for Abby, but I see where you're coming from. Thank you. You know, I think this is the best 3 comments I've seen in both subreddits. This is a really good discussion here about the game. And so there we go. I just wanted to show you guys both sides of the same coin, because I feel both of these subreddits, they all come from the same people who loved the first Last of Us. And some of them were all separated now. I don't know if this was the point of the game. I don't think it was. But yeah, if you guys found anything positive out of this, leave a like, leave a comment, and maybe we'll have another discussion after this. If you want to hear my personal opinion, I'm going to keep it out of this video. I'll do another video if you guys even care about it. Just wanted to show you guys this. Probably have a good idea of what I think about the game. But again, it's all about having discussion and not finding a happy middle. So, this is Lua FG. I'm signing out. Peace.